y'all. So I'm just trying to for my own sake record what happened in the last week and a half because it's been a lot and I'm just trying to organize things. So anyway, so about a week and a half ago on Thursday the 14th, I got a job offer. I had applied to two jobs that I had interviews at, and there was one that I liked more than the other. The family shelter I didn't like as much as the other place. So on Thursday, I got a job offer from the place that I liked less. So I reached out to the place that I liked more, and I was like, hey, can you give me a timeline? They're like, well, we'll try to get back to you tomorrow, but definitely by Monday. So I was like, okay. So I'm stalling the other place until Monday. So Saturday, the 16th, I'm trying to go through my life as though everything is normal. And Sunday, I couldn't handle it anymore. I was just completely stressed out about the whole thing because I didn't get a call on Friday, by the way. So Sunday, the 17th, I was massively stressed. And so, excuse me, I decided to play Sims 4 that day because that's my favorite activity and I hadn't done it in ages. And anyway, so I played Sims 4. Now, as is usually the case, it went kind of late. It went less late than usual because I was also teaching Kitten to use his talk buttons that day, so he interrupted a lot for his, his own needs. Anyway, so he was pressing his talk buttons. I'm playing Sims 4. Everything's great. But I didn't go to bed until 2 a.m. So Monday, I was asleep for a lot of the day. I did get a job offer from the place that I liked more. I was very excited, although very stressed out about contacting the other job. But eventually I got through that. So I was trying to be excited. The name of the job is Overnight Addiction Recovery Counselor. So, that is working with a program because I like working with kids, but I also want the overnight shift. So this seems pretty simple. It's a bunch of women with either who have children or are pregnant who have chemical dependency issues, and if they're in this program, it makes it a lot easier for them to keep their kids. I guess most of them have their kids with them in the program. So it's unusual to get a job where you can work with kids on the overnight, especially since my travel radius is small because I don't have a car. And this is a setting, it's the overnight, and I'm more familiar with hospitals, honestly, from a personal experience point of view than I am with public schools. And working in the public schools has done a lot for me, and I really appreciate the experience, but I think this will be hopefully better, and I should be making a lot more money because substitute teaching is always first shift, and first shift is also when therapy appointments and everything else are happening. So I figure with the overnight, I can just squeeze in 8 hours of sleep somewhere. It'll probably be broken up, but as long as I can get 8 hours of sleep in every 24-hour period, it'll be fine. So it'll be work at night, and then during the day I have a million appointments and then trying to fit in sleep, which isn't ideal, but it's a lot better than not being able to work because, I have a million appointments. So I was very excited about the job. I was trying to figure out money. I'm stressed out, but I'm excited about the job. Trying to get back on some kind of schedule for now. Turns out the job doesn't start until December 16, which is a problem. That's where the money concerns came in. Well, that's exactly when little turtle started sneezing. So this is Monday the 18th. Now, I was worried he was sneezing. He had boogers. This is a big deal for a turtle. because turtles have their greatest area of vulnerability is their lungs. And so I was like, well, I have to take them to the vet. So Tuesday, I go in, I see the med prescriber. Now, I guess he's a genius or something, but he was thinking so hard. It was like you could see smoke coming out of his ears trying to figure out how to implement all of his radical medication ideas without actually killing me. So anyway, he came up with a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully it'll help, honestly, because I've been stressed. So I had to like make a calendar so I could do all the things that he was saying to do this day and this day and this day. It was a whole thing. Anyway, I figured out I go to physical therapy, which I have not been doing exercises. And oh, well, okay. Trying to figure out what order to tell this. So anyway, so I go to pick up the turtle, go to the vet. The vet's a million miles away. The vet says he's stable for now. Bring him in tomorrow, first thing in the morning at like 8 a.m. So what that means, because I'm low on dough, means I had to take the commuter rail to South Station, to the Orange Line, to Back Bay, to North Station, take the commuter rail back. It was a whole thing. It was very long travel time. And you should have seen me on peak, absolute peak rush hour in the Orange Line in Boston, trying to pretend that I had no idea why it smelled like swamp water. And people these days, someone must have smuggled in a pond animal because Tanine did not want to take a bath before leaving the house. And so anyway, so we make it home. Then I have to like get up at the crack of dawn, get him back all the way the other way by 8 a.m. Now, this also meant that I had to spend some time. Monday night was rough, or Tuesday night was rough. Well, anyway, so I reach out to my parents who owe me, because basically whatever is the cost of a K through 12 education plus the amount of money that I've spent on healthcare, plus, which is like thousands and thousands of dollars, plus, I guess pain and suffering, but the amount of money and lost productivity from having to be on disability rather than using my master's degree because of overwhelming trauma. Well, anyway, they owe me a lot. I never did the math because, nobody could, but they owe me. Well, anyway, if I talk to them like, hey, can we resolve our issues? They won't respond. But if I just grovel like, oh, if only I had some help with my turtle, well, that's when they're like, nice. So I don't understand why that is the way it is. I would really prefer if I could have like an actual, like, human, normal relationship with them. But they are not remotely interested in any of that. And the problem is, a lot of the time, the person's never going to apologize. They're never going to be sorry. They're never going to think they did anything wrong. And I can forgive them for that. And I can forgive them for everything else. I can forgive them. But if they're convinced they did nothing wrong, then what that tells me is they're not planning on changing their behavior in the future. So I cannot have any kind of relationship with someone who historically has deeply harmed me, who's planning on continuing to deeply harm me, right? Because they're not sorry, they don't think they did anything wrong. So what that usually means is I don't have any relationship with the person at all because, but they're my parents. So it's this really uncomfortable thing where it's like, I don't have other parents. I kind of have to work with the ones that I have, but I can't have any kind of authentic relationship. And it's just really hard because I don't like feeling like I'm using people. And, it's like, I don't know. I just tell myself, like, if they didn't have personality disorders, if there's some version of them that doesn't have a personality disorder, say, like in another universe looking over here, what would that version of them want? And it's like, obviously, they cannot provide emotional support. They cannot provide any kind of relationship. All they can do is help out financially. So this is them doing basically the best parenting available to them, right? So I don't know if the parallel universe version of them with no personality disorder, wishing that they do the best they can, makes sense to anyone but me. But anyway, I got money to take the turtle to the vet. So I go back on Wednesday. This meant canceling substitute teaching, which is very bad, but the person was nice. So I take him to the vet. I'm waiting around. I had to go to the library. The vet's in the middle of nowhere. So I call up my BFF, Stacy, who also lives in the middle of nowhere. I guess coincidentally not very far away. So I was like, do you want to do lunch? And she's like, no, I want to pick you up and hang out with you for the rest of the day and then give you a drive back home in my car. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. She was amazing too. And so finally I get my turtle. I think I'm going to put as a still picture, like the post that I put in my turtle forum, summarizing basically what happened with the vet. But basically, I went in like, look, I think he needs an antibiotic. And they're like, well, this has happened a few times. We can't prescribe antibiotics too often or he'll develop resistancy issues. Some of the infection could be chronic because he has a respiratory infection. But they're like, it's not that bad. It's probably just like a chronic thing that doesn't really respond to antibiotics at this point. So I was really stressed out. But I guess he's okay for now. He just needed better winterizing for his tank. So I winterized his tank, got him much stronger heaters and stuff. So hopefully that will coax him out of his dirt pile, because I didn't realize the reason he was in his dirt pile instead of in the water was because he was too cold. I didn't know that. Well, anyway, I should have by now, but I don't know. I didn't. So he was in his dirt pile, and fortunately for him, he does not need an antibiotic. I got a whole bunch of stuff to heat him up a little more, so hopefully that will help him clear out whatever flare up this is. So at that point, I was pretty tired. Thursday and Friday, I went to work. Friday night, I went to bed at like 6 p.m. Woke up like yesterday afternoon. It was crazy. I was so tired. But I did manage to pick up all his Amazon packages, because one thing with time management with me is like, I cannot get packages delivered to my house because of Porch Pirates. So I have to go get them at Staples because I have the iPostal One thing. But in order to retrieve iPostal packages, I have to take the bus to the bus terminal, take another bus, which is only once an hour, pick up the packages, wait 45 minutes, go do the same thing in the opposite direction. So it's like hours and hours out of my day to retrieve packages. So I try to do it like no more than once or twice a week. But it's like, yeah, if I weren't traumatized, I would have a lot more time to do things that I enjoy, whatever. So that brings us to today. Oh, I forgot to mention another thing that happened Friday. Okay, so I go to work. After that, I went to Dollar Tree to buy toilet paper. From there, so I need weekly blood draws now for Clozaril. So I go to the blood lab. I've got my massive amount of toilet paper just carrying around with me because I don't have a car. And they're like, oh, we don't have the order in here. Well, the doctor is on vacation, so I call up the office, the covering doctor. It takes like an hour. Eventually, they put it through. Um, it was just a lot. And then I had to go to Walmart to get like um, vegetarian Thanksgiving dinner. So I don't know. I'm exhausted. I'm stressed out about money. I've got a lot going on. Really looking forward to the 16th when I at least get to do orientation and kind of move on. Um, it's been like one thing after another, and I mean, I guess life is supposed to be hard, but this feels like a lot. Anyway, so I think, we've got everything going on, but I think it's okay. The turtles warmed up. Um, the rent is paid. So trying to get back into like some kind of normal swing of things because a lot's been going on. And I've been like abandoning all my like social supports. Like I haven't been talking to people as much as I would usually like to. So that's been a lot. But I think things are moving in a good direction. So, yep, that's us.